In a narrow street of a quiet medieval town, where the houses leaned toward one another as if conspiring in silence, there lived a man named Elias. He was not remarkable, not wealthy, not poor, not beloved, nor avoided. A man who passed through life as many do, unnoticed and content to remain so. Each morning, as was his habit, he stood before a small polished mirror fixed to the wall of his chamber. It was no grand object, but sufficient to reflect the shape of a man preparing himself for the day. But on one particular morning, something was missing. The room appeared, the window, the bed, the candle, yet where Elias should have stood, there was nothing. No form, no shadow, no trace. At first, he believed it to be a trick of light. He moved closer, then further. He raised his hand, and though he felt the motion, saw the air disturbed before him. The mirror remained unchanged, still, empty, indifferent. Elias did not cry out. He did not flee. Instead, he stood there longer than he should have, waiting, as though patience alone might restore him. But the mirror offered no answer. In the days that followed, Elias spoke of it to no one. What words could he use? What proof could he offer? He feared not disbelief, but something far worse, that others might look and see what he saw, or worse still, that they would see him when he could not. He began to avoid reflective surfaces, windows at dusk, still water, polished metal, anything that might betray that terrible absence. And yet, curiosity, like a slow illness, returned him again and again to the mirror. Each time, the same result. A world complete in every detail, save for him. He touched his face, felt the warmth of his own skin, listened to his breath, watched the faint movement of his chest. All signs of life remained. And yet, the one thing that should confirm his existence refused him entirely. A thought began to form. Quiet at first, then persistent. If a man cannot see himself, in what way does he exist? Elias began to observe others more closely. At the market, in the chapel, along the narrow streets where life continued unchanged. He studied their reflections when they passed by windows or pools of rainwater. Every man, every woman, every child reflected perfectly. He alone did not. At times he would position himself beside another, glancing sideways at a mirror or polished surface. There they stood, two figures in the world, but only one in the reflection. Did they notice? He searched their faces for hesitation, for confusion, for any sign that something was wrong. But none came. They spoke to him, answered him, looked into his eyes without fear, which troubled him more. For if they saw him, then the fault did not lie in the world. It lay somewhere deeper, somewhere unseen. And so the question changed. Not, why can I not see myself? But what is it that the mirror refuses to show? On the last night, Elias returned to the mirror once more, not with hope, but with a quiet, measured resolve. The candle beside him burned low, its light unsteady, casting long and uncertain shadows along the walls. He stood before the glass. Still nothing. But this time, he did not look for himself. He looked at the space where he should have been, and he noticed something he had not seen before. The emptiness was not empty. It held a faint distortion, a subtle bending of light, as though something stood there, not absent, but unseen. Elias did not move, did not breathe, for in that moment a terrible understanding settled upon him. The mirror had not failed. It had not forgotten him. It had not betrayed him. It had shown the truth, that what stood before it was no longer something that could be reflected. And as the candle finally died, leaving the room to darkness, there remained before the silent mirror only the faintest suggestion of something that no longer belonged to the visible world.